Welcome to our show, Hong Kong Brief. Today, we dive into the significant sentencing of 45 pro-democracy activists in Hong Kong, where the High Court handed down prison terms of up to 10 years. This trial marks a pivotal moment in the city's ongoing struggle for political freedoms, with key figures like Benny Tai facing the harshest penalties. As international voices raise concerns, the implications for civil liberties in Hong Kong are profound. In a contrasting scene, global financial leaders gathered at the investment summit in Hong Kong, emphasizing the need for resilience and wisdom to navigate the turbulent global economy. Citigroup CEO highlighted that globalization is changing but not dead, while discussions about trade agreements and market uncertainties filled the air. The focus remains on Asia's growth potential, despite the challenges ahead. Lastly, tensions are rising between China and the EU over tariffs on electric vehicles. The EU's plan to impose duties on Chinese imports could have significant repercussions for Europe's economy and climate goals. As both sides dig in, the need for global cooperation on climate action becomes more crucial than ever. Please continue to watch for more detailed coverage of these important stories. The Independent reports on a significant national security trial in Hong Kong, where 45 pro-democracy activists were sentenced to prison terms of up to 10 years. This landmark case emerged from an unofficial primary election held in July 2020, where the activists aimed to select candidates for a legislative election. The prosecution accused them of plotting to paralyze the government through disruptive actions. Notably, legal scholar Benny Tai received the harshest sentence of 10 years, while Joshua Wong was sentenced to over 4 years. The trial has drawn international criticism, with observers highlighting it as a clear indication of Beijing's increasing control over Hong Kong and a violation of the freedoms promised during the 1997 handover. Deutsche Welle elaborates on the international ramifications of the sentencing, emphasizing the global outcry against the crackdown on the pro-democracy movement in Hong Kong. The trial, seen as the largest under the national security law imposed by China, has been condemned by various nations, including Australia, which expressed grave concerns over the broad application of the law. The activists were found guilty of conspiracy to commit subversion, and the case has been characterized as a pivotal moment in the ongoing struggle for democracy in the region. The convictions are viewed as a significant step in the erosion of civil liberties in Hong Kong, raising alarms about the future of political dissent in the city. In a contrasting narrative, the South China Morning Post highlights the resilience and wisdom emphasized by global financial leaders at the Global Financial Leaders Investment Summit in Hong Kong. As the world grapples with geopolitical tensions and economic uncertainty, leaders from major financial institutions underscored the importance of adaptability and strategic negotiation in navigating challenges. With the backdrop of a changing global landscape, particularly in light of potential trade wars and shifting monetary policies, the summit aimed to foster a collaborative approach to future economic stability. The leaders expressed optimism for Asia's growth potential, despite the looming pressures from global markets, suggesting that wisdom will be crucial in addressing trade tensions and ensuring continued economic progress. The Globe and Mail reports that a historic verdict was delivered in Hong Kong as 45 pro-democracy activists, including notable figures like Joshua Wong and Benny Tai, received prison sentences ranging from 4 to 10 years under the stringent national security law imposed by Beijing. This legal action culminated from a 2020 primary election organized by pro-democracy parties aimed at increasing their representation in the Legislative Council. However, the authorities accused these activists of conspiring to subvert the government. Despite the judges claiming adherence to common law principles, the harsh sentences reflect a systematic crackdown on dissent, leading many activists to grapple with the reality of their political aspirations being stifled. In a report by the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, the sentencing of the so-called Hong Kong 47 has sparked outrage, particularly from Australian officials regarding the imprisonment of dual citizen Gordon Ng, who received a 7-year sentence. The trial was shrouded in secrecy, with judges opting to announce sentences without elaborating on the extensive 82-page rationale. The unofficial primary vote, which was intended to bolster pro-democracy candidates, was labeled as a threat to the government, illustrating the authorities' zero-tolerance approach to any perceived challenge to their rule. The broader implications of these sentences resonate internationally, as countries like Australia express grave concerns over human rights violations in Hong Kong. The South China Morning Post emphasizes the growing tensions between China and the European Union, particularly regarding tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles, which have the potential to ignite a trade war. The EU's decision to impose duties on what it deems unfairly subsidized imports could backfire, raising costs for consumers and undermining efforts to combat climate change. As Europe seeks to bolster its competitiveness in green technology, the article argues that this geopolitical maneuvering could derail collaborative efforts essential for addressing global environmental issues. The call for dialogue and cooperation in developing green technologies is underscored, as the world grapples with the urgent need for climate action amidst rising geopolitical tensions. CNN reports on a significant crackdown in Hong Kong, where over 40 prominent pro-democracy leaders have been sentenced to prison terms ranging from 50 months to 10 years on subversion charges. This mass sentencing marks a pivotal moment in the erosion of political freedoms in the city since Beijing imposed a stringent national security law in 2020. Among those sentenced are notable figures like Benny Tai, who received the longest term, and Joshua Wong, a former student leader, who declared his love for Hong Kong as he departed the court. The defendants were accused of organizing an unofficial primary election aimed at bolstering their chances in the 2020 citywide polls, which authorities labeled a conspiracy to undermine the government. This event underscores the transformation of Hong Kong from a once vibrant democracy into an authoritarian regime, with many opposition figures imprisoned or in exile. South China Morning Post highlights China's commitment to enhancing Hong Kong's role as an offshore financial hub, with plans to expand the Connect scheme to include commodities and more financial products. Wu Qing, chairman of the China Securities Regulatory Commission, announced these developments during the Global Financial Leaders Investment Summit, emphasizing the need for stability and transparency in policies. The summit, which drew over 300 financial leaders, showcased Beijing's support for Hong Kong's financial sector and its aim to attract global capital. Vice Premier He Lifeng reiterated the importance of Hong Kong's unique position as an international financial center, while local leaders expressed optimism about emerging sectors like fintech and sustainable finance. This strategic push aims to bolster Hong Kong's economic resilience amid shifting global landscapes. South China Morning Post also discusses the potential impact of new U.S. tariffs on Chinese imports under President-elect Donald Trump, suggesting that such measures could lead to a significant shift in manufacturing to Southeast Asia. Analysts predict that Chinese manufacturers may relocate operations to countries like Vietnam and Thailand to circumvent tariffs, a trend that began during Trump's first term. The influx of Chinese investment in Southeast Asia has already been notable, with Vietnam emerging as a key beneficiary. However, concerns loom that Trump may target goods routed through these countries, complicating the situation further. Industry experts warn that while the initial diversion of trade could benefit Southeast Asia, the long-term consequences could be detrimental if tariffs are imposed on transshipments. This evolving trade landscape poses challenges for exporters and shippers as they navigate a potentially tumultuous economic environment. BBC reports that a Hong Kong court has sentenced prominent pro-democracy activists, including Benny Tai and Joshua Wong, to lengthy prison terms following a contentious national security trial. Tai received a 10-year sentence while Wang was sentenced to over 4 years for their involvement in a plan to select opposition candidates for local elections, which the authorities deemed a conspiracy to subvert the government. This trial is viewed as a significant blow to the pro-democracy movement in Hong Kong, as it represents the largest application of the national security law imposed by Beijing after the pro-democracy protests of 2019. Observers note that the trial sends a chilling message to anyone who might oppose the government, while officials argue that it is necessary for maintaining stability. New York Times highlights that the mass trial, which resulted in the sentencing of 45 former politicians and activists, has effectively dismantled Hong Kong's vibrant pro-democracy opposition. The authorities accused these individuals of participating in an unofficial primary election, which they claimed threatened national security. The swift arrests of key figures like Benny Tai and Joshua Wong have underscored the risks associated with dissent in Hong Kong, with analysts warning that even moderate criticism of the government can lead to severe consequences. This trial marks a pivotal moment in Hong Kong's political landscape, as it raises concerns about the future of democracy and civil liberties in the city. South China Morning Post celebrates the achievements of female entrepreneurs at the 5th Golden Bauhinia Women Entrepreneur Awards, where 27 inspiring women were honored for their contributions across various fields. The event, organized by the Golden Bauhinia Women Entrepreneur Association, serves to empower women in business and recognize their significant impact on society. Attendees included notable figures from the government and business sectors, emphasizing the importance of supporting women's entrepreneurship in Hong Kong and the Greater Bay Area. The awards not only acknowledge individual successes, but also aim to inspire a new generation of female leaders to continue making positive contributions to the business landscape. The Sydney Morning Herald reports that Australian citizen Gordon Ng has been sentenced to 7 years and 3 months in prison by a Hong Kong court as part of a mass sentencing of pro-democracy activists. This event marks a significant moment in the ongoing suppression of political dissent under Beijing's national security law, which has been criticized for stifling freedoms in the city. Ng was among 47 democracy campaigners charged with conspiracy to commit subversion for their roles in an unofficial primary election held in July 2020. The sentencing has drawn international condemnation, with Australia's foreign minister expressing grave concerns and calling on China to stop suppressing freedoms. According to the Toronto Star, the court proceedings have highlighted the harsh realities faced by activists in Hong Kong, where 45 prominent figures received prison terms ranging from 4 years to 10 years. The charges stemmed from their participation in a primary election that aimed to secure a legislative majority for pro-democracy candidates, a move perceived by authorities as an attempt to undermine the government. The judges emphasized that the activists' plans could have led to a constitutional crisis, dismissing arguments that their efforts were futile. This case illustrates the drastic measures taken by the government to eliminate dissent following the massive protests of 2019, raising concerns about the erosion of civil liberties in Hong Kong. The sentencing has sparked a wave of public support for the convicted activists, with over 200 individuals gathering outside the court to show solidarity. Among them was a centenarian supporter known as Grandpa Wong, who expressed his desire to see the activists again, fearing he might not have the chance due to their lengthy sentences. The court's decision has not only affected the activists and their families, but has also sent a chilling message to the broader society about the consequences of political engagement in Hong Kong. Human Rights Watch has condemned the situation, stating that participating in elections is now deemed a criminal act, reflecting the rapid decline of judicial independence and civil rights in the region since the imposition of the national security law. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of Six-Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the Six-Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize Six-Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, sixdobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive Six-Do Brief via email.
Morning sunlight on the street, city whispers soft and sweet, faces mix in daily grind, every story intertwined, cultures blend like colors bright, languages in the silent night, on the table stories told, food and feast upon so bold, people living day by day, in the heart they find their way, sharing moments, voices sing, in this world of everything. Society in rhythms beat, entertainment's fleeting heat, echoes of ours and fears, laughing through our unseen tears, children playing in the park, drawing dreams till after dark, elders speak of days gone by, washing shadows from the sky. People living day by day, in the heart they find their way, sharing moments, voices sing, in this world of everything. Society